Hello everyone, welcome to Wing Chun Basics Part 2. Today we're going to be focusing on how you should align your punch, the basics of a punch. How you align it, how you throw it, and how you put more power into it. Let's check it out. Right, so the first thing we need to consider is the fist itself, okay? And a mistake that some newcomers to any art make is that they put the thumb on the inside. This is an absolute no-no, okay? You're going to damage your thumb, you're going to hurt all sorts of structures in your hand. So the thumb should always be on the outside, wrapped here, covering these two fingers here, all right? And you close there like this. There should be an alignment of these lead knuckles, the wrist, and the elbow. And we're training to make sure that that alignment always stays true on an impact, okay? If you hit and you've got a crooked alignment like this, then your wrist is going to take stress. If you hit with a crooked alignment like this, once again your wrist is going to take stress. So you want to train to get that good alignment from knuckle, wrist, elbow. Whether you're hitting with this angle or this angle, it's all the same. You still need that joint alignment. Good timing. These things are across the board. It's not just, nothing's just Wing Chun. Truth is not part-time. It's across the board. It will turn up everywhere. Second thing we need to consider is when do you actually tighten the fist, okay? You shouldn't be tightening from here, from this back sort of, chambered position and then throwing. Because you're going to lose a lot of energy. You're basically more powerful here than you are here, all right? And it's like riding a bike with the brakes on. You need to let the vehicle run smoothly, and then you apply the brakes at the end. You make it a solid mass at the end, but allow it to travel freely. So the idea is that you're relaxed here, you throw it. Look, now my hands are open, okay? It's open here. There's no contraction or tightness, it's open, it's free to travel, and then at the end it becomes the well-structured punch that we were talking about before, with that momentary contraction, and then you let go again. And you let go again because you don't know what you're going to need to do next. You might have an opportunity to hit again, fine, so you release the brakes so you can then move the vehicle again, but you might need to defend all sorts. So it's pointless holding on to the tension of a past technique, and it's pointless traveling with tension. Think of that bike analogy. Relax your shoulders. I didn't mention that. Keep your shoulders relaxed, because you might have a relaxed hand, but if your shoulders are tight, then the brakes are on. The rear brakes on. You call this the front brakes. These are the back ones. Your rear brakes are on, and it's going to stop the motion again. So we need both brakes off. Then the elbow can travel freely, and then you can apply some contraction near the end. So these are the brakes that you apply. The target is the brakes that the opponent applies. So now we can look at other parts of the body and how they contribute to the end product, to the punch in this occasion, right? And we'll start off looking at the hip. This is a major player when it comes to punching, and this is where really you're going to start getting more power into your punch, when you learn how to rotate through the target properly. Now, if I'm punching with my right hand, my right hip should also be moving toward the target. It doesn't go in equal proportion, so you don't want to start and stop both at the same time necessarily, depending on range, right? But it gives some motion, and it gives drive, and it gives a little bit of extra reach as well, actually. All right, so you turn, stay level. You turn through the target. And you should always, say the target is here, you should not just be hitting to the target. You should be hitting through the target. Bury, or have the potential to bury your fist through the target with each strike. If you just do this, it's nothing. We need this. We need to really go search beyond that which you can see. Yeah? And the hip really helps to provide that action. You're rotating. Even if as a basic training, you stand in your stance and you just turn and you reach and you get used to the act of reaching forwards and timing the action. That's just with an empty hand. Then I can time the action of when I close my fist, allowing my hip to help. And then we want a straight line out and back. So you're timing all of that, you're getting help from the hip, you're driving it, and you're starting to get a little bit more, much more power when you put the hip in. There's not really a great deal of power just with the arm. Okay, so now let's consider how we're actually standing, alright? Because your balance is going to play a major role as well, right? Now, we should be low. You've always heard people talking about borrowing from the ground in martial arts, I presume. And this is no exception to that. We still need to do that. You stay nice and low. You have to have a footing that allows your hips to rotate at all times. Because you don't know, the target might present itself right in front of you here. And if I'm standing on a tightrope like this, it's going to restrict the motion of my hips. You can see here. I can just barely turn to my hips being level. And that's not really where I want to punch. Just by changing my footing a little bit here, so that instead of standing on a line, I'm more standing like in a rectangle, you could say, with my knees bent. Now, I can drive this hip, I can have a lead hip. Even from my standing position. And why shouldn't you have one from your standing position? So from here, I can now have a lead hip, pushing that forwards. Obviously this can go forwards as well. Okay. Secondly, now we've got this view and this perspective, you should not lock out your joint. Right? If you do that to a piece of rope, ping, 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 the midpoint or some point along that line is going to take stress and eventually get damaged. The same will happen with your arm. There's a lot of cords and structures within the arm that can get damaged by that constant stretching and pulsing like that. So train yourself as part of your timing to stop your arm short of a full extension. So now we have the definition of the fist, we have the alignment of the arm, we have the timing of contraction, we have the rotation of the hip, we have the foot placement to facilitate that rotation. And we also need to consider about how much we're actually extending the arm as well. Your range doesn't change, okay? What distance do I need to be from the trunk or the torso of another human being to be able to deliver this strike to the head or torso of the human being? This seems okay. I'm able to bury my fist through the target reasonably well with that hip rotation in place. If I were here, for example, I can touch it, but I'm only going like just barely wrist deep into the target. It's not good enough. As I said before, we want to bury the arm through the target, or have the potential to. The potential. And let me explain what I mean by the potential to. Because when I am in range, I've been demonstrating it to you just now like this, with my hand going all the way through, and the timing of my punch is here. I've been closing my fist there. That's not the real thing, that's just me finding a little bit of distance. Really, I'm going to be making contact much further along the line, closer along the line, sorry. So my timing of contraction will be earlier. So when I hit here, I should have the potential to travel beyond the target. But am I going to push all the way to there? No, because it will become a push. What we want is something, say this is the target. I want something, I'm punching from here. I want something that has the speed, pace, momentum, potential, drive to get to here. So that when it hits the target, it's traveling at top speed. I don't want something that only has the potential to get to here, because by the time it gets to the target, it's decelerating. I want a deep bend in my arm, so it's still got give. Remember, I was talking about not locking out your joint and all that sort of stuff. If I'm here, look at how close to a fully locked out joint I am. There's nothing left. I want to hit with a nice bend in my arm so it had potential to travel beyond. Now when you feel the target, you pull away. So it had potential to get there, but their face became the brakes. Their body became the brakes. Their collarbone, whatever it is you're hitting, becomes the brakes, right? You just add the timing because you can see the target, right? Or you can feel, which informs you to where the target is. Sensitivity lets you know as well as the sight. But you know where that target is, but you've got the potential for the full travel. And then you pull it away. And then you pull it away. And then you pull it away. Now you don't keep it out there for too long because, like I said, it will become a push and less effective. To sum up very briefly, we've got the way we close the fist, wrapping over these two thumbs. We've got the alignment of the arm, the knuckle, the wrist, the elbow. We've got the hip, giving it its rotation and helping it to be driven towards target. We've also got the timing of contraction. It's relaxed on the journey, it contracts just before the target, and then it relaxes again once it's done its work. We've also got a footing that facilitates the movement of the hip towards the target wherever they may be. And then we're talking about the range as well. Learn to find your range. Know what your range of striking is. Know your limitation of your punch. If you're outside of this range, sort of here, then maybe, you know what, it's time to use your legs then. If you are too close for your hip to be able to contribute to the punch, then maybe it's time to use your elbows then. Do you understand? There's a different range for your target, for your weapons. And we need to get used to that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Hit the like, subscribe, get in touch. Thank you.